Thank you for listening. This course was created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional podcasts, books, newsletters, and cool merchandise await. Let's get started. Governance in artificial intelligence refers to the structured oversight of systems across their entire lifecycle. It is not a single process but a comprehensive approach that incorporates policies, accountability, and alignment with risk management practices. Governance establishes the foundation for compliance by ensuring that AI systems are not just powerful, but also trustworthy. It dictates how models are built, deployed, and monitored, weaving rules of responsibility into every stage. Without governance, organizations risk creating fragmented practices where teams operate in silos, leaving critical gaps. With it, decisions about model behavior, system configuration, and data handling become transparent and enforceable. This structured oversight allows leadership to manage risks consistently while giving regulators and stakeholders clear evidence of accountability. Acceptable use defines the boundaries of permissible activity for both systems and their users. It translates governance into codified rules that describe how AI models may and may not be used. Prohibitions on unsafe or malicious behavior, limits on sensitive prompts, and restrictions on plugin access fall under this domain. These rules not only guide end users but also provide organizations with enforceable standards. Acceptable use policies link directly to governance as they embody the operational side of oversight. By codifying behavior, organizations prevent misuse and build trust that AI systems are deployed responsibly. The concept mirrors acceptable use policies in broader IT contexts, but here it is tailored specifically to the unique risks of AI, from prompt injection to unsafe tool integration. Governance matters because it provides assurance where uncertainty is highest. AI systems are complex and unpredictable, making misuse both likely and potentially catastrophic. Structured governance helps prevent such misuse by establishing clear guardrails. Regulators demand visibility into how AI is managed, and governance provides the artifacts, policies, logs, and audit reports that demonstrate control. Stakeholders also benefit. Customers, partners, and employees gain confidence that AI is deployed consistently and transparently. Governance reduces inconsistency across the lifecycle, ensuring that training data, model checkpoints, and inference outputs all fall under the same oversight. Ultimately, it transforms AI from a risky experimental tool into a mature enterprise asset, fit for use in sensitive or regulated domains. Policy development is the mechanism through which governance becomes operational. It begins with identifying risks. What could go wrong if a model behaves unexpectedly, or if data is misused? These risks are then translated into enforceable rules that are clear, specific, and actionable. Drafting policies requires input from multiple stakeholders, including executives, security teams, legal advisors, and developers. Stakeholder review ensures that policies are practical and accepted across the organization. Versioned publication allows policies to evolve with technology while maintaining a clear record of historical rules. This lifecycle ensures that governance is not static but adaptive, keeping pace with both emerging threats and changing regulatory landscapes. Without thoughtful policy development, governance risks becoming abstract guidance rather than an actionable framework. Acceptable use categories provide the practical boundaries that define system interaction. They often begin with prohibitions on harmful outputs, such as hate speech, self-harm content, or disallowed instructions. Restrictions on sensitive prompts prevent misuse by blocking inputs that could lead to exploitation, like requests for personal health information or dangerous technical instructions. Controls for plugin usage ensure that external connectors cannot be abused to trigger unsafe actions. Compliance with external laws, from privacy regulations to sector-specific mandates, is embedded directly into these categories. These rules make acceptable use tangible, giving users clear expectations and administrators clear enforcement criteria. In effect, Acceptable use categories turn abstract governance objectives into the everyday rules by which AI systems operate safely. Mapping governance to security ensures that policies do not exist in isolation, but are tied directly to technical controls. A policy restricting unsafe prompts must connect to monitoring systems that detect and block them. Governance rules about plug-in restrictions must link to access control lists and enforcement at API gateways. Escalation procedures define how violations are handled, ensuring that alerts trigger not only technical responses but also organizational workflows. Integration with security operations centers allows governance to tie into broader enterprise defense, correlating AI-specific events with general cybersecurity signals. This mapping ensures that governance is not just documented but lived. Policies are not aspirational. They are enforced through concrete, measurable actions embedded in infrastructure. Documentation requirements make governance auditable and transparent. Policy libraries serve as centralized repositories where all rules and standards are stored, versioned, and accessible to stakeholders. Evidence of enforcement is equally important. Logs, reports, and dashboards must demonstrate that policies are not only written but also applied in practice. Audit-ready reporting packages these artifacts for internal and external review, streamlining regulatory engagements. Continuous updates ensure that documentation reflects current realities, avoiding the pitfall of stale policies disconnected from actual operations. In AI systems where risks evolve quickly, this documentation is not just a compliance tool but a living reference that ensures clarity and accountability across the organization. Without it, even well-intentioned governance loses credibility. Roles and responsibilities give governance structure by defining ownership across the enterprise. Executives carry the duty of owning governance, setting tone from the top, and ensuring that policies align with organizational strategy. Security teams are tasked with implementation, translating governance into controls embedded in infrastructure. Developers align their practices to policies, ensuring that code and models are built within acceptable boundaries. Auditors provide verification, confirming that rules are followed and reporting on gaps. This division of labor prevents governance from becoming a theoretical exercise, rooting it in concrete accountability. Everyone has a part to play, and clarity about who does what prevents critical gaps where responsibilities might otherwise fall through the cracks. Training and awareness embed governance and acceptable use into organizational culture. Staff education introduces employees to the principles of acceptable use, making sure they understand what behaviors are allowed and prohibited. Developer training focuses on applying policies in daily practices, such as coding standards, data handling, and integration safeguards. End-user awareness campaigns ensure that those interacting with AI systems respect boundaries and recognize misuse. Continuous reinforcement, through refreshers and scenario-based exercises, keeps these lessons fresh. Governance cannot succeed if it is only known by a small team. It must be understood across the organization. Training turns rules into habits, ensuring that acceptable use is not an afterthought but a normal expectation for everyone. Monitoring for violations is the operational safeguard that ensures policies are more than words. Detection systems identify unsafe outputs by scanning model responses for disallowed categories. Logging of misuse attempts provides visibility into both accidental and malicious activities, creating a record that informs investigations. Anomaly alerts flag unusual patterns of behavior, such as repeated probing of boundaries, which may indicate adversarial testing or abuse. Forensic follow-up provides the depth needed to understand how and why a violation occurred, enabling remediation and lessons learned. Monitoring thus closes the loop between governance intent and real-world behavior, ensuring that violations are not ignored but addressed systematically. Escalation procedures define how organizations respond when violations occur. Response tiers categorize the severity of incidents, from minor policy breaches to major regulatory events. Rapid executive notification ensures that leadership is aware of significant issues early, enabling coordinated action. Remediation steps provide structured approaches to contain the issue, correct the root cause, and prevent recurrence. Regulatory reporting may be required for the most serious violations, particularly when consumer data or compliance obligations are at stake. Escalation procedures transform governance from passive oversight into active response, demonstrating that the organization is prepared not only to set rules but also to enforce and act upon them decisively. Governance frameworks provide external reference points that guide organizational practice. ISO and IEC guidelines, the NIST AI Risk Management Framework, and sector-specific mandates all shape expectations for responsible AI governance. Internal enterprise standards adapt these external frameworks to organizational needs, ensuring alignment with both industry norms and company strategy. Frameworks serve as benchmarks, allowing organizations to measure their policies against established best practices. They also provide credibility, showing stakeholders that governance efforts are not invented in isolation but informed by widely recognized authorities. For AI systems, where public trust and regulatory scrutiny are growing, alignment with frameworks strengthens both resilience and reputation. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Audit processes bring rigor to governance by ensuring that policies and acceptable use standards are continuously validated. Regular governance reviews provide structured opportunities to evaluate whether policies remain relevant and effective. Compliance scorecards offer measurable snapshots of adherence, highlighting areas where improvements are needed. Third-party assessments add independence, reassuring stakeholders that oversight is not purely internal. Corrective action planning translates audit findings into practical steps, ensuring issues are addressed promptly rather than merely documented. For AI systems, where risks and regulations evolve quickly, audits prevent complacency. They provide confidence that governance is not static but dynamic, adapting to new threats and obligations. Metrics for governance transform oversight into measurable outcomes. Policy violation counts show how often systems or users cross established boundaries, indicating both effectiveness and pressure points. Audit coverage percentage reflects how much of the environment is actively monitored, guarding against blind spots. Remediation timelines measure the speed of response, demonstrating whether issues are resolved quickly or allowed to linger. Training completion rates show whether staff and developers are truly engaged with governance requirements. These metrics allow leaders to manage governance as a performance system, not just a compliance checkbox. By turning abstract principles into data-driven insights, metrics make governance actionable and accountable. Integration with risk registers connects governance practices to broader enterprise risk management. Logging AI-specific risks into a central system ensures they are visible alongside financial, operational, and legal risks. Mapping governance controls to specific risk entries clarifies how policies mitigate threats. Prioritization by severity ensures that the most pressing risks receive attention first, aligning resources with impact. Tracking closure provides transparency, demonstrating progress over time and avoiding the buildup of unresolved risks. For AI, this integration ensures that governance is not siloed but part of a unified strategy, tying emerging technology risks into the larger organizational picture. Balancing flexibility and control is a central challenge of governance. Overly rigid policies can stifle innovation, preventing researchers and developers from experimenting with new models or techniques. Too much freedom, however, invites harmful or non-compliant use. Structured exception processes offer a middle ground, allowing deviations under controlled circumstances with proper approval. Adaptive governance evolves policies in response to changing conditions, ensuring rules remain relevant without being burdensome. This balance creates an environment where innovation thrives but risks remain contained. For organizations deploying AI, finding this equilibrium is essential. It supports growth while preserving accountability and trust. Governance in multi-tenant environments adds another layer of complexity. Per-tenant acceptable use rules recognize that different clients or divisions may have distinct requirements or obligations. Isolation of violations ensures that one tenant's misuse does not spill over and affect others. Accountability delegation clarifies who is responsible for compliance in shared environments, dividing roles between provider and tenant. Shared evidence reporting enables transparency, giving all stakeholders confidence that rules are applied consistently. In AI platforms that serve multiple organizations, multi-tenant governance is not optional. It is the mechanism by which fairness, accountability, and resilience are preserved across diverse users. Linkage to legal obligations ensures that governance aligns not only with organizational goals but also with external requirements. Data protection laws demand clear boundaries on how personal information is collected and processed. Intellectual property concerns shape how datasets and models can be shared or reused. Consumer protection laws impose responsibilities to prevent misleading or harmful outputs. Liability management frameworks define how accountability is assigned when AI systems cause harm or error. Governance translates these obligations into enforceable policies, ensuring that compliance is not reactive but embedded in daily operations. This legal alignment reinforces governance as both a security and a business imperative. Strategic benefits of governance and acceptable use extend far beyond regulatory compliance. They create organizational accountability, ensuring that decisions about AI are deliberate and traceable. By documenting policies and roles, governance provides external assurance to clients who demand confidence that AI services will not jeopardize their data or reputation. Prevention of systemic risks is another benefit, as governance reduces the chance of cascading failures caused by unchecked misuse. Just as importantly, governance fosters a culture of responsible AI use, where staff and developers understand not only the rules but the values behind them. This cultural shift transforms AI from a risky innovation into a trusted enterprise tool. Strategic benefits thus emerge at multiple levels: operational resilience, regulatory assurance, and organizational reputation. Governance also serves as a mechanism for aligning stakeholders across disciplines. Executives, legal teams, developers, and security specialists may approach AI risks differently, but governance provides the shared framework that unites their perspectives. Acceptable use policies act as the practical expression of this alignment, turning broad values into daily rules. This cross-functional approach ensures that decisions are not made in isolation but reflect the full spectrum of organizational priorities. By embedding governance in enterprise structures, AI becomes part of the same disciplined processes that manage financial, legal, and operational risks. This integration strengthens trust, both within the organization and with external partners. A further benefit is the ability of governance to anticipate and manage emerging risks. AI technologies evolve rapidly, with new capabilities and vulnerabilities appearing constantly. Strong governance processes ensure that organizations are not caught off guard. Policy review cycles, monitoring systems, and exception frameworks allow rules to adapt as circumstances change. Acceptable use categories can expand to cover new risks, such as novel plugin types or unexpected model behaviors. This adaptability prevents governance from becoming obsolete and ensures that oversight remains meaningful. Organizations that embed adaptability into their governance avoid the trap of reactive, crisis-driven responses, instead cultivating resilience and foresight. Governance also contributes to ethical credibility. Public confidence in AI is fragile, shaped by concerns about bias, misuse, and accountability. By establishing clear, acceptable use boundaries and enforcing them transparently, organizations demonstrate a commitment to responsible AI. This credibility strengthens customer trust, attracts partners, and reassures regulators. It also empowers employees, who can take pride in building systems that reflect ethical values. Ethical credibility is not built by promises alone, but by policies, enforcement, and transparency. Governance operationalizes ethics, making it part of how AI systems are designed, deployed, and maintained. In this sense, governance is as much about values as it is about compliance. In conclusion, governance and acceptable use provide the scaffolding for responsible AI deployment. Governance establishes structured oversight, policy-driven accountability, and alignment with risk management frameworks. Acceptable use translates these principles into codified rules that define safe boundaries for both users and systems. Together, they prevent misuse, assure regulators, and foster transparency with stakeholders. Their effectiveness depends on well-crafted policies, clearly defined roles, and continuous monitoring. Metrics and audits ensure accountability, while integration with risk registers ties AI oversight into broader enterprise practices. Strategic benefits include organizational accountability, prevention of systemic risks, and the cultivation of a responsible AI culture. Governance transforms AI from a technical asset into a trustworthy organizational capability. As we transition to the next episode on risk frameworks in practice, the connection becomes clear. Governance provides the policies and acceptable use rules, but risk frameworks operationalize how those policies are measured, prioritized, and managed. By understanding governance, you have the foundation for assessing risk systematically. The next step is to explore frameworks that transform oversight from broad principles into structured, actionable practices, ensuring AI systems are not only governed but continuously evaluated and improved. This progression underscores that security and trust are not static, they are dynamic disciplines, evolving with technology and refined through practice. Thanks for tuning in to Bare Metal Cyber, your trusted source for cybersecurity educational materials, news, and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.